What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Beyond Cinema Podcast, episode 5, presented by Neuway Media. My name is Brendan Grant, and as always, I'm joined by Chris Murray. And we've got a special guest today, our good friend Mike Knoll. Mike, how you doing, man?
I'm doing good. How are you?
We're doing all right. How are you holding up in quarantine so far?
As with everybody, I'm sure there's been ups, there's been downs. Just a lot of coping, working from home.
So that's what I was gonna say. Are you unemployed or are you employed?
I'm working from home right now. I'm employed full time still.
Nice.
That's very ironic. Like awesome, because this would because when you first started, we'll get to it. Your work schedule was kind of like you were almost seasonal in a way, right?
Yeah,
like project to project, and then you would kind of go dormant and then get picked up. And then this would be a situation where I would be like, oh, people that have your common situation would definitely be affected by this. But that's great. You get to keep working through this.
Yeah, it's good. I would definitely usually be kind of considered seasonal, but recently I've been able to work pretty consistently. So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's the goal.
Yeah, so Mike, we haven't even told you about this podcast. We just sort of asked you if you'd want to do it. I'm not sure how much you know, but so this is called Beyond Cinema. Connor was our first guest that we had on last week.
It's actually a roast.
Oh, yeah, it's just us roasting you for 60 minutes.
I'm fine with that. Let's do it.
But yeah, we wanted to bring you on because we want to bring on guests that have different perspectives from all corners of the industry. So do you want to tell the audience a little bit about what you do and what your background is?
Yeah. So I went to school with both of you guys. So I have a film and media arts background from college. Currently what I do is I'm a VFX artist compositor, which basically means that my job when I work on a project is to go completely unseen. So we do a lot of, so I work at a stop motion animation company, and they are the ones that make Robot Chicken.
Mm-hmm.
So what company is this?
Right?
What?
What's the company?
It's called Stoopid Buddy Stoodios.
Okay.
They're based in Burbank, and we do stop motion animation with puppets that are 3D printed. And then my job is on the post end of it, so I'm doing a lot of rig removal and cleanup work and adding effects in that couldn't be done practically.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Could you explain more in detail, like what sort of that is, like rig removal and all that stuff, like for the people who don't know?
Right. So like I said, there's 3D puppets, and when those 3D puppets need to move around, they'll use these wire rigs, or they'll use some kind of setup that's it's hard to describe because it looks like almost like a construction thing that's like holding up the characters. Like, so if they need to jump or something and they're in midair, something has to hold them up. Or sometimes they'll do foot rigs that are these little coupler type things that'll be screwed into the bottom of the foot of the puppet and then screwed into the floor of the stage. And so one of the things that we have to do is we have to remove all of those holes then from the floor that are created on the stage.
Oh, right. Wow.
Yeah.
So is that like I think I remember asking you this before. Is that like sort of in Photoshop how you have like a clone stamp tool and you literally have to do that frame by frame?
Yeah, so we work primarily in After Effects. We also do a little bit of Blender work. But yeah, we also, After Effects has a clone stamp tool that you can use in it. But a lot of the time when it comes to that kind of stuff, they'll shoot a clean plate for us to use.
Right.
And then we can mask out. And that way it's not, because when you're doing the clone stamp stuff, it can get a little jittery if you're not kind of 100% perfect from frame to frame.
Which no one could be. Like every frame would, you'd see like shifting,
Sometimes you get lucky and you'll have an area where nothing interacts with it for a while, so you can kind of hold out that clone stamp. But other than that, it's pretty much masking a lot of the time. Or even using that clone stamp tool to take a plate. Sometimes we don't get a clean plate, so we have to create a clean plate. So the clone stamp tool come in handy for that too.
Dang. So like you'll create one clean plate using the clone stamp, and then you'll use that same layer for the entire shot or the entire scene.
Yeah, depending on it. Every shot is a little different, but yeah. That's that'll happen sometimes for sure.
What type of stuff do you do? You mentioned like stuff that's like simulated that can't be done in camera. What type of stuff is that?
So like fire effects, and
Oh, cool.
I have coworkers that will do in Blender. They'll do water simulations,
Mm-hmm.
uh, just different things. I had to do for one of the episodes of. I worked on the Walking Dead special that Robot Chicken did 2 years back, I think now.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, and I got to do this cool shot where they did fireworks and it spelled out "I love you, Mom" in the sky.
Whoa.
So it's something they kind of, I mean, if they really tried to figure it out, they probably could have done something for it. But it's one of those things where it's like it doesn't come quite across the same way as it would if we did it in post.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like what do they call that? Like a particle effect sort of thing.
Yeah, exactly. It's a particle simulation. Yeah.
Right. Cool. So let's talk about Stoopid Buddy a little bit and some of the shows that you've done. You kind of mentioned that you got to do the Walking Dead thing. Like, so yeah, tell us about some of the other shows that you've done in the past or that you're doing now.
Right. So the Walking Dead thing was a Robot Chicken special. So it was usually every episode. Just going to go into this real quick, but usually every episode of Robot Chicken, for those of you who don't know, is like it's like a variety show. So it'll go between different sketches. But for this, it was a variety show, but it had a clear storyline, and it was 22 minutes of just Walking Dead themed storyline, which was pretty cool.
Oh, yeah.
And at the time, I was working on night shift, and the primary like majority of the work that was done on that specific episode was the people on night shift, and there were only 3 of us at the time. So it was somewhere around like 300 to 350 shots split between 3 different people. But yeah, so that was that. I've also worked on, Stoopid Buddy had this show on Crackle called SuperMansion that was centered around kind of, they were knockoff superheroes. So they had different superheroes that were based on real, both DC and Marvel characters. Yeah, it's pretty good. They had like one character whose name was American Ranger, who is based on Captain America. Had a similar backstory where he was frozen or something in the like 1940s and then thawed out, and kind of a lot of his humor comes from the fact that he doesn't understand the modern day. So a lot of his jokes are things that people just like wouldn't say now. So it's pretty good. We have what am I allowed to talk about?
Anything that's not NDA, I guess.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of what is and isn't NDA. I don't talk about this stuff a whole lot, so I kind of forget which ones are and which ones have been discussed.
Yeah, and it's different from like when you talk to a friend in private versus you're talking to a podcast, like an audience, you know.
Well, I mean, let's take a step back for a second.
Yeah.
So you're in film school. Did you want to get into visual effects when you were going to school, or like when did it go this route? Did you kind of fall into it, or was this always the goal?
I would definitely say I fell into it. When I started film school, actually, I applied to school as a civil engineering student.
Really?
Yeah.
I did that.
Yeah. I changed.
So were you doing film before college at all?
Yeah, so when I was in high school, my senior year, I was offered a film class. It was the first film class I'd ever taken. It was really my first exposure to film in any kind of structured form. I took that with my best friend in high school. And after taking that for a year, when I went to the experience day that Temple had, I changed my major that day.
Nice.
So wow. I went there for that prolonged weekend, and the day that we got there, I changed my major. I got put in a different group. I met a bunch of people that I still know now that day, and I ended up weirdly enough staying in the dorms with the engineering students still. Yeah, but yeah, so it was never visual effects was not the plan. I even went through school as just kind of trying to figure out, do I want to do cinematography? Do I want to do something in post-production? I really didn't have, I even did my last semester, or my last year at school was completing a master's screenwriting class. So, which is completely different from VFX.
Right. Yeah. Wow.
Pretty much everything that I know VFX wise was never stuff that I learned in a classroom at school. Everything that I know for the most part is stuff that I learned outside of the classroom, taught myself, or have learned on the job since I got out here.
That's awesome. That's like truth with a capital T, you know?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
If only I feel so strongly about that. Like if only we could go back and tell our past selves about, in terms of like what our education, what we would be learning. And obviously it sounds like from you, like college was a super useful experience to just figure out what you loved and what you didn't love and what you're good at and not good at and stuff. So to help you get that direction. But in terms of like pure education, there's so much that you can learn online nowadays, and so much you can learn from just being in the cut and just doing it.
Yeah.
That like, I always try to tell people that.
Yeah. I will say too, I got pretty lucky that I think it was between my sophomore and junior year in school. A buddy of mine, Jared Hirsch.
Love Jared.
Yeah, he's great. He hooked me up with a project that summer. A buddy of his son was having a bar mitzvah thing, and he was doing this huge bar mitzvah video that was based around the first Mission Impossible movie. And he had a bunch of shots that he wanted his son composited into from the movie itself.
Oh, that's cool.
So Jared got me in connection with him. I spent probably, like 3 or 4 weeks working on that project. A bunch of green screen stuff that Jared had shot of this guy's son and compositing him in over top of Tom Cruise for about maybe like 2 minutes worth of the movie.
Wow.
But yeah.
For like, what do you say, like 4 weeks of work?
It was maybe like, I'm trying to remember exactly, because I got really lucky too with the fact that I told the guy up front, I was like, I'm still kind of learning what I'm doing with this, and he was completely fine with it. He paid me for it and everything, but he was completely fine with the fact that I was kind of learning as I was going. So I took that opportunity to kind of hone in on it a little bit more, which was awesome. But it was probably between me giving him my how far I'd gotten so far and him giving me revisions, it was probably roughly between 3 and 4 weeks that I worked on that project. Yeah.
Just like back and
so
forth.
That's what I was curious about, because I was gonna say, like, did you know what you were doing, or did you like kind of take the gig and then this is like how you learned, was like this, or that's what I was curious if you already were like seasoned at what you were doing when you got this gig.
I definitely wasn't seasoned at it. I'd had some experience trying to do green screen related stuff. I mean, even when I was in high school, back to that class that I took, my buddy and I made kind of a music video. And one of the things that we never learned in that class was how to do green screen. So at one point we just went out to a fabric store. We bought green material because we didn't know what chroma key green was at the time. We were just like, it's green, it works. And we put green screen, what we called green screen, up on our garage door, and we shot part of it with a green screen. So I had some idea of what I was doing going into it, but the other part of me was like, I want to use this as a learning process to figure this out a little bit more.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I mean, you're always learning. There's always, and even if, I mean, you could do 100 green screen things and there's still going to be something new that you learn, you know? So I feel that.
I mean, even in going to Stoopid Buddy, I learned very specific techniques that I would not have learned otherwise. So, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
So wait, so could you go back and like, what was the inciting incident then for deciding to go, like, you're very clearly in love with animation. What was it? Was it just finding an opportunity and being like, I want to take this, and then that sort of became your career? Or
so I have had this inclination or an affinity to drawing and animation since I was really young, like 6 or 7 years old. I used to carry around a little lined notebook with me and draw stuff in it. And I think, and then throughout school and everything, I kind of became more geared towards science and math for a very long time. And once I was exposed to that video course, I think my eyes were open to the fact that, yeah, I actually could maybe take this and move along in a path that would allow me to eventually move into animation. Because that's honestly, VFX is what I do now, but what I really want to do is either 2D or 3D animation at some point. Again, it's one of those things. I don't have a whole lot of experience in it at this point. Haven't really taken any classes in it, but I've taught myself a little bit of stuff with it, and it's just a matter of kind of diving into it more.
You did animation on that Christmas short.
I did, yeah.
Which was awesome, by the way. Yeah.
Thank you.
What was your process for that?
That's a great question. I was fortunate enough to, during the time that we were doing that, borrow basically the equivalent of a knockoff Wacom Cintiq.
Okay, cool.
From a friend of mine. So I was able to do a lot of hand-drawn kind of stuff for that, which kind of I feel like comes across in the animation style of it. But I did use a lot of techniques, implemented a lot of techniques that we use at work. So one of the things that we do with stop motion animation is we do digital mouths. So we put mouths on the actual characters that they don't do on set.
Right.
So they look like paper, but they're meant to look that way.
Right.
But the way that we have it laid out is we have it laid out, and this is going to get kind of a little bit more technical, but we have it laid out in a composition that's then each frame is a different mouth. And then you take that composition, you pre-comp that down, and that becomes your mouth's layer. And then you can keyframe that layer, and it'll bring up the different mouths throughout the course of the timeline. So go ahead.
Feel free to get as technical as you want, or as little as you want, because we'll have listeners from all backgrounds. So for the people who do know more, that's useful stuff to learn about. So
yeah, it's one of the things that when I first decided we were going to do a part of that musical to be animation, that I was like, well, I have to make sure that I figure out how to do this the right way,
right?
Because that's key, because you're doing a musical, so it's focused around the mouth. So if the mouth isn't done right and it's not timed out right, then it's not going to look correct. So
yeah, and it looked so good. It was really impressive. It was like a whole sequence just done by you, basically.
Yeah, it was. I had some of the stuff had a little bit of basis within the world that we were shooting in, but a couple of the things were just like I had to make it up from scratch.
And the art design of the characters. Oh, sorry, Chris.
I was going to say, before we run away too far, do you mind, Mike, explaining what we're talking about, what the short is?
Yeah, that's a good point. So we made this 6.5 minute musical. It's called a musical, but it has one song in it. It's just a 6.5 minute song, really. Christmas themed, holiday themed.
It's like one act of a musical.
Basically, it's
it's overarching, but
yeah. So, but we made it. Was it like 2 years ago? Christmas of 2018 was when it was made for. And it's basically me and my roommates have this sketch comedy YouTube channel that we had been working on for a while, and we decided we wanted to do a musical, so we did that. And about a 35 to 40 second segment of it is animated. So that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, we'll put a link to the short film in our description, wherever this one is going.
Previous guest on the show, Connor Griffin, also worked on that.
Yeah, Connor Griffin, he composed the music for it, and then him and my other roommate Jake Mattern wrote the lyrics together. Jake had a major role in the lyrics for sure, and then I think he came up with most of them, and then Connor and him kind of fine-tuned them.
That's so cool.
Yeah,
that's nice. It works well with our last episode. Chris, did we talk to Connor about the Christmas musical? I forget.
No, I don't think we did.
Cool. Okay. So yeah.
That's funny. You didn't talk to the composer about the musical, but
we just talked about other.
It's because I'm mad that he didn't make one for this year.
Well,
we were bummed.
We did try that, and it just kind of got to the point where it was too late, and
can't catch lightning twice.
Yeah. Maybe you can. Maybe. We'll see.
What I was saying before was how much I love the character design and like the style of it. It kind of reminds me of like, it's very Disney-esque.
Yeah, now I'm trying to remember the artist, but it's supposed to be in the
there was like
vein.
a specific influence.
Yeah, like Frosty the Snowman.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay, yep.
Animation style. If you look at the way that the mouths are done in our musical, they're very much modeled after the style of the Frosty the Snowman, and as a whole, not just the mouths, but overall, that's kind of like the color scheme a little bit, and the
I picture like an animated Dick Van Dyke already. Like,
yeah, exactly. So that was what we were going for, and then we just made it a little bit less kid friendly with like the mound of cocaine and stuff like that.
So. That was so funny how I like how it was like sort of meta because it showed the animator like in it, which was cool.
Which shout out to Connor Griffin. That animator is Connor Griffin. So ironically, we were originally going to have it be me, and then Connor decided he wanted to voice that character, so I just made it him instead.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Cool. Chris, you have like any? I've sort of been cutting you off a lot.
That's fine. I think we're all there's fans listening, there's an audience, and we're all wondering, and we just want to revisit the topic of your infamous film from film school.
My infamous film from film school.
Yes.
Oh,
wait, which one?
Are you talking about Radioactive?
Yes, I am.
Oh shit.
Yes, I am. That's where it began, right? Wasn't that like
kind of like one of
your...
Mike Knoll is active.
That project was one of the things where I was like, this is cool. Like, I like visual effects at this point, and this is a project that I want to try to do things and be able to actually do like some superhero type effects and stuff like that. It did not pan out the way I thought it would.
There were a lot of cool effects in that,
it's like early, it's like, it's just cool because you can look back on that and you were kind of trying to implement those things without the experience and knowledge. And then like years later, you're working with that kind of post-production work, which is kind of cool.
For sure, yeah.
So everyone's wondering, there's fans out there, there's audience members, listeners on the edge of their seats. They say, just get to the meat of it.
Right.
Radioactive season 2. When's it happening?
Oh, we never got past episode 1. What are you talking about? That's a great question. I did have several episodes beyond what I actually made written. But was
what is Radioactive?
Okay, so Radioactive is, as it is now, is a concept that I came up with my sophomore year of college to enable myself to use my own project to actually do some of the VFX stuff that I wanted to experiment with.
Mm-hmm.
And
so is this pre-film school? Is this freshman year?
Sophomore year of college.
Oh, okay. I thought this was freshman year of college.
I think I came up. Well,
maybe it was the summer between.
I think it was the summer between freshman and sophomore.
Right.
So I think I came up with the concept freshman year, and sophomore year, I kind of, towards the beginning of sophomore year, I decided to actually shoot it, and it is what it is.
Yeah, so I'm a firm believer that you get out of college what you put in, right? So
correct.
This wasn't a curriculum project. It was just
not at all.
Yeah, a personal thing that you did and it's cool to hear that you did it with the purpose of like trying to learn new techniques.
Yeah, and at the time it was one of those things where I still hadn't met a whole lot of people in college. So I had one friend from college that I met who was actually in it, was an actor in it, and I actually acted in it too, which don't ever watch it because it's bad.
Watch it. Link below.
But I don't think I'd even really met you guys yet at that point. So I probably met you guys as I was working on finishing it up before I
think so.
Uploaded it to YouTube and everything. It was definitely one of the more ambitious things I tried to do because I wanted it to be this whole series, and I had an idea in my head of how this whole series would play out. and it had a whole lot of fire effects in it and teleportation effects and flying effects and all these different kind of superhero based.
Watch out, Sultan's going to come for you.
Yeah, well, I mean, at the that working on that, I think, is what made Sultan realize that I was going towards VFX, because then later on in my college career, he hooked me up with this production.
Sultan being another filmmaker.
Yes.
In our film school.
Correct. He hooked me up with this New Jersey-based production company that I got to know pretty well, and they wanted me to do some graphic stuff that never quite panned out. But it was through, I think, working on that project, Radioactive, kind of gave me the identity as the VFX / animation guy in the group of people that I knew in college.
Mm-hmm. Did you ever work on Sultan's his web series?
No, the closest I got to working on it was sitting on set with you and Connor, actually, that one time.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, I never actually worked on the show itself. I just kind of hung out that one night and was observing what was being done. Mm-hmm. But other than that, I've never had a hand on it.
Yeah, I wasn't sure.
That dude is made for like some CW show.
Yeah.
To direct some... He liked to direct Supernatural, something like that.
Oh, for sure. Well, he based a lot of Grimoire is based on Charmed.
Oh, right.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That makes
a lot
sense.
of the style of the effects, even like we look at them and we're like they kind of look a little dated, but that's because he's basing it on this show that is from a time that is that style of those effects.
Yeah. Back when everything was still shot on film and visual
effects were a little bit more difficult.
You give that dude the budget he needs, the cast he needs. I believe he can make something. There's an audience for his genre, and 100%. He has like the work ethic. And dude, he's just been at that series no matter what. He just kept pushing, kept making it.
Yeah,
years he just kept doing it. It's awesome.
Yeah, he was in multiple different countries and he was still working on it.
Yeah.
So
he just needs the crew, He needs the experienced crew.
He needs the financial backing, honestly.
Yeah.
If he does that, then he can get that crew and stuff, and I would say that would take off pretty quick.
Yeah, I would say like great example of someone who is actually taking the most out of their college experience and actually making stuff. Yeah, if I had like any advice for anyone going into college or in film school right now, it's like just shoot your own passion projects, help your friends shoot their other passion projects, and just use those as learning tools. They're not going to be perfect. They might suck really bad, but that's how you're going to learn. And no one expects you to be good when you're a film student. We can't all be Martin Scorsese and stuff in film school. It's going to take a couple decades, but that's where you learn.
Well, you think of it this way. Go ahead, Chris.
I was going to say, you might make magic.
You
never know.
And even if what you do make, maybe at the time you're not thrilled with, or even afterwards you're not thrilled with, it's a baseline. It's to say, here's where I started, and then as you're going through your career, it allows you to look at how you've evolved over time.
Yeah, like honestly, like that speaks to me so much, because that's like I feel like exactly what I felt when I was in college. I literally was thinking about every project I was doing as like a measuring tool of where my skills and knowledge and experience was. And like, I felt I was I loved sharing my work, and I loved people actually seeing my work, which is, I think most film students are like shy about actually showing people. But at the same time, I was still super critical of what I was doing and always comparing my work to professional things and being like, this is nowhere near as good as I want it to be, but now I know what I need to improve on.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean, it's funny too that you brought up Sultan with all that work that was put into his series and everything like that. But when we were senior year of college, when we were working on Iris, Connor Griffin's senior thesis project, both you, Brendan, and I, and also Sultan, worked visual effects on that at some point.
Yeah, it's something I haven't mentioned yet on any of Neuway Media's platforms, is that like in film school, I was actually much more focused on editing and visual effects for the first 2 or 3 years until I really discovered cinematography my junior year. But like I originally thought I was going to go into VFX and editing. So again, like college, it's where you discover yourself. You do a lot of work and you figure out what you love and what not. But
I mean, you think of projects that never kind of really made it out of the shooting phase. Romanticon.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that one.
Didn't you did some test stuff for that with some like energy ball fight type for visual effects?
I didn't do visual effects test stuff for that.
We did 1 day of shooting.
Yeah, I think Chris.
Yeah, I was there for it.
Chris, you shot that, right?
I didn't. I think John did. I think John did.
Okay.
John shot it because I did sound on that.
Yeah, I don't think I was really involved in Romanticon, but like besides just the planning phase.
Oh well, there was definitely one of those shorts that I remembered seeing a test that you had done with some energy ball effects and stuff like that. That was almost like derivative of like Dragon Ball Z, but if it was in.
Did you know Tyler Baggy, Dan's friend? I think Tyler did that. Yeah, I think Tyler.
Oh,
yeah.
Shoot.
Tyler did most of Dan's VFX work.
I was not aware of that.
I think the only VFX work I did for Dan was the green screen keying, which was terribly done. The Star Trek parody he did.
Yes, the Star Trek parody, Trek Stars.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't do anything on Strike?
Oh, I did all the Strike stuff. Yeah, I did the electricity and stuff in Strike, which was literally just like the electric simulation effect within Premiere, or maybe it was After Effects. I forget, but
yeah,
and some rotoscoping and stuff. Yeah.
I really wish I would have worked on Strike. I wish I had known you guys at that point to be able to work on Strike.
Yeah, I wish you could have worked on it too.
Yeah.
That was a fun one. Again, more superhero stuff.
Yeah. That was definitely like the first like 2 or 3 years of us being in college was like the era of where everyone was doing something. It was kind of either like action-y or superhero based. At least it felt that way.
I think that was really pretty unique to our specific friend group in college. Most people in film school want to do these like artsy fartsy films. And most of us just wanted to do like stupid, like action and superhero and sci-fi and comedies and things like that. Yeah. So that was cool.
Yeah.
Okay, it's
we can't move on from Radioactive yet, though. We're not done.
Okay,
because the mystery has never been officially solved. This film closes out with a song, and
it has been solved. It has been solved.
Is it Mr. Saxo Beat?
I'm fairly positive it's Mr. Saxo Beat.
Inside jokes that the audience has no idea what we're talking
about. Okay. I'll elaborate. So there was a theme that I wanted for that show, and I had a friend who from high school who I gave it. I was like, "Can you do a theme for this?" And he was like, "Yeah, sure." And he sent me this guitar lick that I then ended up giving to Connor, and Connor just reinterpreted it.
Connor made it piano.
Yes.
I never knew Connor was involved at all.
Me neither.
Yeah, no, he did the music for that.
The plot thickens.
Yeah, exactly.
But at the time when we were
Connor's Mr. Saxo Beat.
At the time when I was making it, I had Connor redo that music, and he took that theme that my friend made and he expanded upon it and added music throughout the entire 5-minute short. But the main theme of it, we were focused on this for maybe, I guess it's still, as Chris is saying, it's still kind of a debate. It's kind of a little up in the air as to whether or not that was actually an original thing, or if my friend who sent me that guitar lick actually pulled that from a song that existed. And for the longest time, we could not figure out what song it was.
It wasn't even about like if he copied a song or not. It was like
we just wanted to know.
We all recognized the riff. We were all it was like, oh, this song sounds familiar. It's like, but what is it? I know this song, and no one. We all like could hear it in our heads, but couldn't pinpoint like what song it was. And that's the worst feeling in the world. And no one came to the conclusion. So then we're like, no, like it must be original then. Like that's the conclusion. But
it's so funny.
And then years later, I'm in London.
Yes.
And I'm at this weird like dive club, bar club thing called the Zoo in in London. And this song comes on and it's like dun 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 dun. I'm like, yo, that sounds just like dun 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 dun. That's Radioactive's, right?
Yeah, yeah.
See, like it's ingrained in my head. Why would it be ingrained in my head if I didn't already know? Like,
Yeah,
rhythm, you know.
I'm really glad that you're the one who decided to sing it too, because I wasn't about to. Well, I was about to, but I didn't want to.
It probably won't read the same because of my head. I hear it. To anyone else, they're just gonna be like, "What the fuck?"
Yeah, that's fair. If you guys really want to hear it, Chris will put a link to this short in the description below.
And Mr. Saxo Beat.
And Mr. Saxo Beat, you be the judge. Comment. Let us know what you think.
Yeah, we'll definitely do that. Or at the very least, we'll put Connor's little piano thing.
Yeah,
and then Mr. Saxo Beat. Yeah.
Yes.
It's Mr. Saxo Beat is, or I should say, whatever the theme is for Radioactive is a slowed down version of Mr. Saxo Beat. So
it sounds like it. Like
yeah. It might not be, but
why can't we confirm?
What do you mean?
Like, can't we just reach out to who?
I did. I tried reaching out to him like years ago, and he was like, "I don't remember. I don't know where the inspiration came from." And I was like, "I don't know. I think you do, but
sounds sketchy."
Yeah, it's all good.
I think Connor is the Mr. Saxo.
I love it. I'm so glad that he won't tell us because it makes
it allows it to be a mystery forever.
Mystery,
yeah.
Just like the mystery of who Mr. Saxo Beat is. Who is that? What is that?
Isn't it?
What is a Saxo Beat?
The world
now you're getting. I feel like you're getting a little too philosophical for me now.
I'm just saying.
Well, that's fair.
Let's get back on track. So,
all right.
So Radioactive comes out, smash success. What's next?
Of course. What's next? Well, so that was sophomore year. I guess that leads. I mean, the next major project that I did would have been the Jared Hirsch project the following summer. I didn't really do a whole lot during that semester that I can remember. I made
have to go project for project here.
Good, because you won't get that from me, honestly. I don't. I'm the kind of person who doesn't remember a whole lot of the work that they do if it's not impressionable to me. Like, I'll do work and then.
Like, so when did you decide to move to LA?
I was not originally planning to move to LA at all. My old roommate in college, he had told me that he was going to do the study away program the summer after graduation and defer his graduation so that he could do it. And at the time, I didn't think anything of it. He asked me if I was interested, and I was like, yeah, let's go. So we went to an informational session, and I think that was second semester junior year. No. Yes, definitely second semester junior year. And then after a year later, he decided not to come out at all. He didn't do the program or anything. I ended up doing the program, which Temple offers a study away program for those of you that don't know, that allows you.
Temple University being a university in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, which we all attended for film and media arts.
For clarification on everything that we've said prior to now. Yeah,
we like to put the real intro in the middle.
That's fair.
Only
I get it. By the way, for everyone who doesn't know, my name is Mike, because I don't think I was introduced at the beginning, because now is the middle, and then that's when we do introductions.
Oh, I introduced you.
I know, I was kidding.
And just for further clarification, I was born in Abington Hospital.
In St. Joe's. So,
so going even further back, St. Joe's used to be.
It was originally a crematorium, and then it was turned into a hospital. And then that
was St. Joseph.
Can we just go to the Big Bang? Can we go all the way back to the Big Bang real quick?
Oh man, I have no idea what we were talking about.
We were talking about the study away program.
Oh right, okay.
We were.
So I moved out to California via the study away program in the summer of 2016, and it was arguably the thing that changed my career, because prior to coming out here, I had no plan. Prior to coming out here through the program, I had no plan on moving out here at all.
Right.
even when I came out here with the program, I was still a little skeptical. I wanted to use the program as an opportunity to decide if I should go to LA and start my career there or not. I took two internships while I was out here. One was at a VFX house that did VFX work for like shows that they do reenactments of things that they need 3D work done for to actually show it. And also the show they were working on when I was there was a show called Doomsday 10 Ways the World Could End. It was a limited series on the History Channel. And basically it was scientists, and mostly scientists, talking about the different possible ways that the world could end via either solar flare that knocks out the electrical grid, or a rogue planet crashing into Earth.
I think I've seen that show.
Yeah. So I worked on that show.
Nice.
For probably 5 or 6 of the episodes as an internship at that company. I'm actually in several of the episodes because I got a chance to be on set for some of them, and I got to be a background actor in the show.
That's awesome.
Oh, that's dope. I never knew that.
Yeah. So there's like the episode where the electrical grid shuts down. There's a point when I'm in it where I run from, we're like in a line of people, and I run from the back of the line to the front of the line. I steal a blanket and I run off. And then there's another part in that same episode where we had guns and we were hunting deer, and a guy turns and shoots me. So
nice.
Yeah, it was cool. It was a cool experience. So
it's fun.
The reason that I was on set was because they wanted me to also get the experience of being on set with the VFX supervisor to see what he did with a lot of the green screen work they were doing and planning out how visual effects would work in post, but on the production end of it. So
what were some of the things that you picked up from being on that?
It's just a lot of planning for post, which I've noticed is I think is a struggle within the industry. You know, there's the old adage, "Oh, we'll fix it in post," and it's
a big rush. It's a big rush. Everyone's in a big rush.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's financial, it's time, there's a lot of different reasons, but it's one of those things where it's become a crutch to the point where it just creates so much more work. Not that I'm complaining, because it's what keeps me employed, but it creates so much more work for the VFX artists that have to fix these things. And on top of that, when they do stuff that not only do we have to fix it, but they don't even give us, like I said before, like a clean plate or something like that to allow us to kind of go back on what they did and at least make it a little easier. But I can't complain too much because, like I said, it keeps me employed.
Right. Cool.
Yeah.
Nice. So moving forward from there? Your other internship?
Yes, my other internship. So at the time when I was in the program, I was still trying to figure out, do I want to do post or do I want to do writing or something around there? Because like I said, I took a master screenwriting course my senior year of college, and I managed to get an internship at Roger Corman's production company, as it was supposed to be a post-production internship. And then the first 2 days I was there, post-production for the project they were working on ended.
Damn.
So they had finished editing, and all of their VFX work was coming from a VFX house that was unrelated to their production company. So I ended up being the guy sitting in the office twiddling his thumbs for like 2 days while they tried to figure out something for me to do. And then I ended up being, I can never remember what this is called. Just reading scripts.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like a very common internship to have.
Right.
You get to be like the first line, the first person that gets to review all the scripts to send off to the next person. You know, like you cut out the bad ones.
And you'll get a script, and they'll ask you to do like a 1-paragraph summary of the script, and then hand that back to them so that they can get an idea of what it's about and all that kind of stuff. And sometimes, depending on the company, they'll ask you to give a little bit of your opinion on it. Sometimes they don't. But then I was fortunate enough at one point to be able to organize some of the VFX spreadsheet that they had for the shots and upload some of the revisions that they wanted and things like that, which was pretty cool to be on the client end of the VFX process, which now I'm on the kind of like the post house end of the VFX process. So yeah,
cool.
Yeah.
So with Stoopid Buddy,
mm-hmm.
did you intern with them, or did you went straight into doing like freelance work?
So, well, first off, I will say what I do with Stoopid Buddy is not freelance work. It is, I'm not considered an independent contractor. I work for the company. Even though the way that the seasons go sometimes with shows and whether or not they have lulls and people get laid off,
it's still
that's
W-2.
Correct.
Yeah.
You just kind of work a project to project basis.
Exactly. But as far as the internship goes, no, I did not have an internship there. I got the job that I have there through the internship that I had at the VFX house. I should correct myself on that. The company was called Flight 33. They were not primarily a VFX house. A lot of what they did was VFX based, but Flight 33 was also the ones who ran the production aspect of anything that needed to be shot for those episodes as well.
Oh, okay.
So they were kind of a do-it-all. They were just a smaller production company. But one of the guys that worked there as a VFX artist had actually worked at Stoopid Buddy prior to working at that company. He got me in contact with my previous supervisor at Stoopid Buddy, who no longer works there. But he got me in contact with him at the time. And it was so I moved out here in May of 2016. The internship program ended at the end of July of 2016. I permanently moved out here the end of August of 2016. And from that time until the beginning of December, I was unemployed because I couldn't find anything at the time. And then I got an email from this guy at Stoopid Buddy who was like, hey, guy that you worked with, we need people. A guy that you worked with at this company used to work here. He put your name in. We'd like you to come in for an interview.
That's awesome.
Went in for an interview like 2 days later, and I was told I had the job. That was a Friday that I had that interview, and I started working on that Monday.
Nice. Damn, that's awesome.
Yeah. So, yeah, I've said to a lot of people, if there's one thing when you're working in the industry that you need to do is make sure that you're making connections with people.
Right.
Because no matter how little the connection is, it could always pay off in the end. The guy that referred me to Stoopid Buddy, I spent an entire summer at that company. I might have had 2 conversations with him. They were decent conversations, but I might have had 2 conversations with him. When my internship ended, he asked for my email address and then ended up reaching out to me later on.
Wow.
So you never know who you could meet that you could make such an impact on that they're willing to pass your name on to someone else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think I remember like one of the biggest pieces of advice that I got when I was doing the StudyWay program was I forget if it was Lou Pepe who said this, one of our professors, but he basically said like you never know who might be your boss one day or who might hire you for work one day. Like
that's very true.
They could be your intern now, and in 20 years from now, they might be a big wig, and it's just crazy how things happen. It's all about who you know.
Yeah, and I will say a little bit vice versa.
Literally be a big wig. That's all. That's what they evolved to.
Yeah,
just walking around.
Yeah,
a big wig.
I will say too, kind of, it does a little bit go both ways with that too, because on the opposite end of it, that Flight 33 company that I worked at, I think, I'm not positive of this, but I think they've all but dissolved as a company since I worked there.
Oh, wow.
So a bunch of the people that work there have moved back to their home states that they were from. Several of the people that I know from that I made friends with, they still live out here and they're still working, and they're working at different companies now. But that company, when I was there, as far as I know, was at the height of its commercial kind of production.
Mm-hmm.
So
nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, I think the lesson to be learned there is like, well, like we said, it's all about who you know, but also I feel like some people might argue with me, but I think most people would agree. You sort of need to, if you want to work in LA, you sort of need to be in LA. If that makes sense.
Yeah, definitely. And I I learned that when I first moved out here when I was out here for the internship, that, VFX is a thing that most people, when they hear about people working in VFX, they think of remote work and people in other countries doing the VFX work for movies that they've seen on the big screen. And although that is true, if you're just starting out, trying to do remote work is probably the worst thing you can try to do. Because if you're doing it as freelance by yourself and you're not doing it with a company that is remote, your ability to get your name out so that people will know that you're able to do what you're able to do is very difficult.
Right. Exactly.
So
yeah, you won't have coworkers. You won't have like people you chat with every day, you know?
Especially since those are the people that will eventually become those connections that you're going to need, 5, 10, 15 years from now. So, yeah.
So in terms of animation, because you sort of want to go do that more in the future,
Yes.
what is sort of like predicted trajectory? Like what do you want to be doing
For myself?
next?
Yeah. There's programs I need to learn. There's theory I need to learn. Like I said, I don't have any traditional kind of education in animation at this point. And I probably never will, because I'm probably never going to go back to school for animation. But I still need to, kind of buckle down a little bit, learn some stuff online, take some online courses, and just learn some of the softwares that I need to know. I have a friend who he has a script laid out for an idea for an animated series that I've been trying to do some character design work for and stuff like that for a while now. But it's one of those things that I really need to dive into to actually help move it forward.
What's exciting about that, what it sounds like, is it's something that's like it's in your hands, like you could be a self-starter and you don't really have to rely on anybody else. You don't have to go back to school. You can teach yourself or take online classes. You can work on your own personal projects to build your portfolio or your friends' projects. It's almost like you're creating your own film school in a way. Like it needs to be done, which is cool.
Yeah, it's cool. And I will say this, like that segment that I did of the musical that we made was made, I think it was a little bit of Photoshop, and the majority of it was done in After Effects. After Effects is not intended for animation. After Effects is intended for motion graphics. So like lower thirds type stuff and like text based things. That's what it's mostly intended for. If we're talking about like going into like 2D animation, the limitations of After Effects, they hit a point where you can't really do much more. So that's where I think my wall is right now, is getting beyond the After Effects aspect of it, moving into softwares that are intended for 2D animation. And then just for me personally,
what softwares would that be?
Harmony by Toon Boom is a major one. There's some other ones that the names are escaping me currently, but that's the major one that I've heard about that I really want to dive into. But also, for me personally, I need to just get back into drawing more and doing more kind of proportional work and figuring out how to get characters in a way that I want them to be and stuff like that. So, yeah.
That's awesome. And you're a really good drawer too.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah. You've got the talent for it. Actually, so Chris and I are working with Dan Foster, who we have talked about in this episode. Hopefully when all this quarantine thing is over, he has a short film, a horror film that he wants us to shoot with him, but he has a sequence for the film that is like a flashback thing that he wants it to be animated. So he doesn't know exactly how he wants to do it yet, but he has like kind of a vision in his head. But yeah, I'll definitely connect you to and like see if maybe there's a way that you can help us out with it.
Yeah, definitely. See, guys, for everyone listening, take this as a lesson. You never know when you're going to make those connections. You can make them while you're talking through a podcast.
Because it might have been something that I just like wouldn't have thought to ask you, but for talking about it, it's like, oh, of course,
That's fair. Yeah. No, I appreciate that. And I believe I know what short you're talking about.
Yeah,
because
probably.
I I think I read the script for it, and I think I know what sequence you're talking about, and I was interested to see how he was planning on handling that. So
yeah, it seems like it's a really cool idea for a way to do the flashback instead of just filming it live action.
Yeah, definitely.
And he kind of wants it to be like using parallax sort of stuff, like not like almost just like the foreground, midground, and backgrounds can sort of shift, but not really too much movement in the characters.
I can see it in my head already, kind of the idea that you're going for when you say that.
Yeah, so it sounds like it might be pretty cool. So hopefully the film happens, because it's been pre-production has been halted, and I don't know, we might be 6 months out before we even get to start shooting. Who knows?
Well, yeah, it was supposed to start shooting, I think, in April originally, until the whole COVID-19 thing started.
So. Yes, that's sort of a bummer.
Yeah, but
cool.
Yeah.
Oh well. Mike, remember when we went to that IGN party in Los Angeles, downtown Los Angeles with Connor?
Yes.
And we got the Hot Pocket pillow?
Yeah.
Didn't you take the Hot Pocket t-shirt?
I have one, yes. You have one too.
I don't know where that is. But
did you say you don't know what it is?
I don't know where it is, but I have the IGN Hot Pocket pillow.
Yeah, I actually have it. I have the t-shirt, and we have one of the pillows still too, yeah.
It's the most random thing in the world.
Wait,
do you remember? Did you grab one of the little Hot Pocket like mascot guys?
No.
Oh yeah, I think I grabbed 2 of those actually.
Yeah, IGN.com hosted. I don't know, just like a random.
It was a pre-E3 community meetup.
Oh, okay.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. And I guess it was sponsored by Hot Pockets, so Hot Pockets was like slapped on everything.
Yeah.
And the food there were Hot Pockets, which is weird. There's like a long ass line.
Yes.
Waiting for Hot Pockets.
Yes.
They're probably being like microwaved.
Well, I think wasn't it for like sampling like new flavors or something?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is like weird, but whatever. And but the alcohol wasn't free, so it wasn't open bar or anything. So it was just like, okay, come hang out at a bar with us while the Hot Pockets like promotes in your face the whole time. But like all the IGN host members were there, and I don't know if we were allowed to take them, but there was like in the lounge seating, like a lounge, I don't know, booths, there would be like pillows, and there was like IGN pillows, and I was like, this party kind of, well, party, it's a community meetup, so that's where I was mistaken. I thought we were one party.
Right.
I mean, people were partying for sure.
But yeah, so to finish that, yeah, we took the pillows.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, took the pillows, put them like under our shirts. Did we just walk right out with them?
Wasn't our justification though that like they wouldn't have made pillows specifically with the name of the event on it if they didn't want us to take them?
Yeah, I don't know. Or I mean, they're fine.
Yeah,
again, one of the most clicked websites. They're fine.
Yeah, it's fine. It's just 2 pillows. Who cares?
Are they?
It said Hot Pockets on them. So it like ruins the aesthetic.
No, they didn't.
Oh.
Oh wait. So why would you call them Hot Pocket pillows?
No, the pillows themselves did not have Hot Pockets on them. I think it might have said sponsored by Hot Pockets on it.
That's what I mean. It was like brand stamped.
Yeah, but it was like small and in the corner, I think.
Yeah, it was still a cool pillow. Yeah. It was like all on and all that. It was a nice little pillow.
Yeah.
Really going great on like a couch. A Philip DeFranco couch in the background of a YouTube vlog.
Yeah, exactly.
We took it. Thank you, IGN.
Yes, thank you, IGN and Hot Pockets.
Sponsored. No.
It's been ages since I've had a Hot Pocket.
Yeah, same.
I could go for one.
No, especially you shouldn't.
How's everyone's food schedule been? Like, what's everyone?
Okay, so I have a very specific thing to talk about for that. A new thing I've been trying. So it's interesting you bring this up. Trying to share it with the world. So have either of you heard of intermittent fasting?
Yes, yeah. I did it for a while.
Oh, great. Yeah, so I've been trying it out. And I'm loving it. So for anybody who doesn't know, who's listening, what intermittent fasting is, there's different types of intermittent fasting, but basically what I've been doing is all intermittent fasting is like breaking up the times between like when you have dinner and when you have breakfast, for instance. So for instance, for me, I'm waiting longer before I have breakfast, before I break my fast. So it puts your brain it puts your body into a different metabolic state. So instead of trying to find energy from the food in your stomach, if there isn't food in your stomach, then your body is pulling energy from your fat stores instead, which is where the rest of your energy comes from. If you do this regularly, you can train your body for certain times of the day, like at night after you have dinner at 8 p.m. or whatever, and then until you have breakfast, your body is just is not you don't feel hungry because your body has trained itself, like when there isn't food in your stomach, to just start pulling energy from your body, right? So it's good for like you have higher energy levels. You can burn more fat, so you can lean out your body fat percentage, even if your calorie intake is the same, because it's all about just regulating when you eat, not necessarily how much you eat. So I've been doing that. I eat breakfast now at like 1 p.m. I just don't eat or consume anything, like no coffee or anything with cream or anything or sugar in the morning. No calories until 1 p.m. And then I eat dinner around 8 p.m. So it's like a 7-hour eating window. And then the rest of the day I'm fasting. I do that every day.
No in between snacking.
You can snack. You can eat as much as you want during that 7-hour window.
Well, as much as you want within moderation.
Well, within your daily caloric intake.
Your maintained calories.
Yeah. But I'm not trying to like limit my calorie. I'm not trying to eat less calories than I need.
So wait. I'm a little confused. I think I fell off track here. So you eat your breakfast at 1.
Yeah.
You eat your dinner at 8.
Yep.
Ish.
Yep.
And then, but you can snack anytime you want.
No.
In between that.
No.
Well, you can.
After 8, you're done eating.
Yes.
For the rest of the night until 1 p.m. the next day.
Yeah.
Yes, but you're from 1 to 8.
1 to 8, yeah.
You could snack all throughout that.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was wondering. Like, are you eating in between, or is it just 2 meals?
Yeah. No, I'm eating in between too. Sometimes it'll be like a full lunch, but a lot of the times I'm not like crazy hungry at like 5 p.m. or whatever. So I'll just have like a little snack, whether it's like some fruit or like some almonds or something, So it'll be like a really big breakfast, a little snack in the evening, and then in the later evening at like 8 p.m., I'll have like a good big dinner.
Now, with it being 1 p.m., do you vary it up? Are you going for breakfast foods? Or are you going for lunch foods?
I do breakfast foods just because I love breakfast. So
nice.
Yeah,
I still do eggs and toast and yogurt and all that.
What time are you waking up? Do you have a schedule, or are you just whenever you roll up?
Yeah, just whenever I roll out. I mean, I set my alarm for like 9:30 every day, but during quarantine, so I don't have to be up for any reason. But I usually lay in bed for a while after that.
I'm up between 7 and 8 every day.
That's pretty awesome. Like, even though you don't have to be at work.
Today I slept until 9 though, because I stayed up till 4.
So you only got 5 hours of sleep?
Playing Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Nice.
5 hours? Yeah, last night. The past like 2 to 3 nights, I've probably only been getting like 5 to 6 hours, which isn't great. But that's because I was putting a video out and just doing some stuff, and then video games last night. But usually I get around 7 or 8 solid every time.
So I do want to comment real quick on the whole Brendan talking about intermittent fasting thing, because I did do this for, probably like 8 to 9 months, a couple years back.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I shouldn't say I don't talk about it, but when it comes up, I do talk about it. A couple years ago, I lost around 80 pounds.
Wow. That's a lot.
Yeah.
How much?
80.
That's a fuck ton.
You're looking great, by the way. That's incredible. That's a big number.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. But part of that was due to the intermittent fasting. So at the time, I was working night shift, so it kind of fit in pretty well. I would have my breakfast, like you're saying, you have it at 1. I would have my breakfast at 4:00 in the afternoon.
Wow.
And then I would go into work at 6. And then my last meal would be at midnight that night. Or, well, my last meal technically would be at 10. And then I would have like a snack, like around like 11:30, and I would stop eating by midnight.
Mm-hmm.
And then I would wake up. I would work then until about 2:30 in the morning. And I would get up usually around like 10.
Mm-hmm.
So from 10 to 4, I wasn't eating anything. But in addition to the intermittent fasting, I was also doing fasted workouts before that.
Right.
What is
Yeah.
that?
So
Fasted workouts.
yeah, and recently I've actually started doing that again because from what I've heard, it can help target certain fat storages of your body.
Right. So
What's a fasted workout? Like working out on an empty stomach? Like
yeah. So technically, whenever you wake up in the morning, you're technically fasted because if you fasted is just basically not eating for a certain amount of time.
Mhm.
So if you sleep for 8 hours, you've fasted for 8 hours. So in my circumstance, if I stopped eating at midnight and I woke up at 10 and I didn't eat till the next day at 4, I had been fasting for 16 hours, I think, by that time. But so if you work out during that time, it's similar in the sense of your body starts to, since it doesn't have any nutrition that you've put in your body, it starts to attack like your fat storages first.
Because it needs extra energy for the workout.
Exactly. And you can train your body to, if you change the way that you eat a little bit too, so that you're prioritizing protein and carbs, your body will start to realize that the thing that you are prioritizing the least is fat. So it'll start to attack fat as the thing that it isn't necessary to have. Yeah. But yeah, so yeah, I mean, over the course of, that was part of what I did, but over the course of like a year and a half, I lost 80 pounds and that was awesome. A portion of it. So yeah.
That's crazy.
That's the biggest thing I struggle with is working out in the morning because I'm such a night owl. I like working out at like 8 p.m. Like I like working out right around dinner time. So that's tough for me, but that's something I really have been wanting to try to do.
Are you guys leaving the house? Are you going on walks or anything?
Yeah, I've been going. Well, I've been going around our neighborhood a little bit. I've also been trying during this to try to get like 10,000 steps a day if possible. Nice. But I haven't been hitting it every single day, that's for sure. But you know, as much as possible.
Yeah, here you've been going on. You said you've been going on a lot of skates and stuff, Chris.
Yeah, I'm still going out, not like in a bad way. Like I cover up. I do the distancing.
Nice.
I take back roads around here in Hollywood. I mean, Hollywood's pretty desolate right now with people.
Right.
Cars still frequent, but there's no one out here. So, but yeah, I go for you're allowed to go on walks. So I go for a walk every morning or skate, depending.
Nice.
And the morning walk is like an hour. It's not every morning because it's like I have my schedule. And then I'm also trying to produce content. And sometimes I'm like working and I'm like, no, I just want to keep working. I'm not going to go for that walk right now. And so the schedule that I have, I even just put a video out about it. It's more for like when I'm not doing anything, I go look at that and go, okay, like what do I like cross reference, you know?
Right.
So yeah, like that's what that schedule is for.
That's cool.
So, but yeah, I've been trying the best I can to like go out and go for walks daily or like an hour and a half skate session, just pushing around Hollywood. But it kind of sucks because like when I'm skating, I'm like breathing heavy and I have the face mask and it's just like makes exercise kind of weird.
Yeah. I mentioned that actually to Connor the other day because I went to the grocery store and I bought groceries and I wore a face mask. And so I'm in the grocery store for like 2 hours and it's 2 hours of you smelling your own breath, which is just not fun.
2 hours is a long time in a grocery store. I usually spend like 20 minutes in there.
Well, the way the grocery stores are right now, it's insane. I spent 25 minutes just waiting to get into the grocery store.
Yeah, you have to wait in line.
So, I mean, you figure that into that entire 2 hour time.
I've been lucky. Like Target, you get right in, you get right out. It's pretty good right here.
Oh,
Target, I can walk to it.
My Target's packed.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Target on Van Owen Street or whatever.
There's a Target on Van Owen?
Or not Van Owen.
Sepulveda?
Yeah, Sepulveda.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one, there's
Valley
always
Boys.
pretty big line outside.
Yeah.
My Target's on La Brea.
Whoa.
I've been not really going on my runs anymore because I find it really uncomfortable to wear a mask when I run. Like I can't breathe.
So
I'm not even using like a legit mask right now. I got one though. I ordered one, but it's just not here yet. I'm getting like there's this like skate brand, like a brand. Well, not a skate brand. These skateboarders are like hand making these like legit masks.
Oh,
They
it's
put
dope.
like filters in and stuff. So I got one of those, but because it's handmade, it takes a couple days. So I still don't have it. So I've been using like my sheets. Like I have a Casper like bed set, and like the sheets come and it's linen. So it's like this nice like flax linen, and the sheets come in a linen like holder.
Oh, the little drawstring pouch.
It's not even a drawstring; it has buttons on it. So but they're like little tiny buttons, and they don't get in the way. I can even use them to help like fasten the thing good. But so I'm using that, and I just like wash them first, so they're clean, so they smell like clean laundry, and then I like wrap that around my face.
That's it. You heard it here first. Order Casper linens so that you can use the little pouch as a mask.
Oh man, I wish we were sponsored by Casper because that'd be a hell of a segue.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah.
But yeah, so that's what I've been using, and it's like the linen's like breathable. But then I'm wondering, like, is that making it worse because it's breathable because I'm using linen?
Oh, because then it means like there's less filtration.
Yeah, I don't know. See, because like good face masks are breathable too. Like I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like I was in the military, the gas mask is very breathable.
Well, yeah, of course.
You got to fight with them.
So I think linen, comparing it to a military grade gas mask, I think
Casper linen.
It. Linen, Casper linen.
Yeah. Is it Casper linen? Is it like Casper brand linen, or it's just the thing?
The brand is Casper. The material is linen. I got like linen bed sheets.
That's what I figured.
It came in like this linen pouch, and that's what I'm using. It's like I'm just tying that up around my face. That's
fantastic. I love that.
Well, like they said, use what you got. Use a scarf, and it's like, well, what's the difference then, right?
That's true. I mean, at worst case, I have a bandana I've been using, but best case, my mom actually made like several masks and mailed them out to me. So I have like 3 or 4 masks that I've been using. So
yeah, my mom did the same.
Yeah,
we were talking to Connor about that last time. Connor's mom did.
Oh yeah,
all of our moms are looking out.
Yeah, well, actually, Connor, I think it was his grandma.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, his mom actually made him one, and I think it was a little too small or something.
Damn.
But you know, you can't really measure someone's head when they're not right in front of you. So
that's crazy. So Mike, like, when do you get up and go to work?
Yeah, I was gonna mention that too, because like I did see your video that you put out, which I applaud you for putting that out because that's awesome.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, I think that's a very cool concept. I think it would be really cool if a bunch of people did that, so we could all kind of get an idea, especially now, of how people's work schedules are and how kind of different maybe they are from what they would usually be. But yeah, so I start work at 9 a.m, so I'll typically get up around 8 and I'll shower. I set my alarm for 8. I usually roll out of bed at about 8:30. I shower, I feed my cat, and then I sit down at my computer. And then from 9 to 1, I'm working. 1 to 2, lunch. 2 to 6, working again. And then I try to go for a walk after work if it's nice enough out. It's been raining the past week or so.
I have been surprised how much rain we've been getting here.
This has been like
consistent for months.
It's been not great.
I mean, it is great for the environment.
Oh yeah, for the environment. Yes, we need that. Well, I mean, honestly though, we've been out of a drought now for like 3.5 years. So
keep it coming.
But yeah, definitely.
The LA River may be a river yet.
I mean, the first day that it rained. So when the quarantine started, I had that Monday before like the official quarantine order went into play. I had work that day, and I went to go to lunch, and I took a video of the LA River on my phone because it was just wall to wall. Like it was awesome. Just flowing straight down. I was like, this has never happened before when I've seen it.
Isn't it kind of cool that like while this coronavirus, this viral infection that's like infecting the airways, it's on everything you cough on a handle and it's like infected, like the whole world's exposed. And then the city that doesn't rain is just getting constant rain to just like wash it away.
It's almost like Mother Nature being like, hey, listen, I know it's normally nice here and you would want to go outside, but there's this COVID thing happening right now. So I'm going to rain so that you don't feel like going outside.
And it's like cleaning. It's cleaning LA. It needs a good wash down. And it's washing down all the I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways.
But yeah, so after I'm done with work on a usual day at 6 p.m., I'll try to go for a walk for like anywhere from like a half an hour to, I think the longest one that I've had was like an hour and 15 minutes. So I'll do that. I'll get back. If I'm feeling it, I'll do like a workout in our garage, which we took one of our cars out of our 2-car garage so that we could have a little workout space.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So we've got
like, you guys have the perfect place to be sheltered in. You have like space. You can breathe. No one's gonna like. Well, you're living in the living room now, aren't you?
What? No.
I thought your desk is in the living room. Oh, is that a joke?
I mean, yeah, I'm working in the living room. I'm not living in the living room.
Sorry.
But yeah.
Your work day, yeah.
Yeah, during the work day, yeah, I'm set up in the living room because I don't have the space for it in my bedroom. And even if I did, honestly, I don't know if I'd want to work in my bedroom. My bedroom's not big enough for me to easily separate work from sleep.
And you need to break the day up, you know?
Exactly. So it's been good. And on top of that, one of our roommates, right when this quarantine thing started, he decided to fly back home to Pennsylvania. So usually there's 4 of us. Now there's 3 of us. So that's
who went home?
Ian.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah, I feel
he was like, screw that. If I'm going with family. I don't blame him.
He was supposed to go home for Passover regardless, and then he just ended up moving his flight up a little bit so that he could go home. And he had a flight scheduled for like last weekend to come back, and that got canceled. So now he's just waiting. And we told him when he left, because of the situation, we were like, if you go, you should stay there the whole time.
Oh, yeah.
Don't come back in the middle. So.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I was wondering. I was like, should I stay or should I go now?
Amazing.
I really was, and then I was like, I guess this is my home. I was just looking for an excuse to go back to the East Coast, I guess.
Yeah, I get that too, and for me personally, like, I honestly didn't even think that. I thought this is where I'm at, this is where I'm staying. Because if you wait too long, you're putting the people at risk of the people that you're seeing when you get back because of your interaction in the airport, on the plane, on the other airport, on the other end.
That's true.
Your exposure to it at that point is so much that it's not worth putting those people at risk.
That was a deciding factor for me. I was planning to go back to Pennsylvania sometime this summer because my sister had a baby in February.
Mm-hmm.
And I got to visit for like a day. I flew back for the weekend to see her, but I wanted to see her again this summer. And like now it's probably going to be a really long time before I get to go back. Just because I didn't want to put the baby in, the baby's got like a developing immune system. So
yeah, I have a cousin who right at the beginning of this had twins. So I know exactly what you're talking about. Like I would love to be able to see them, but it's just not worth putting them at risk.
Yeah.
So,
and before we go, speaking of animation, just a sideline. I binged BoJack Horseman. Has anyone else watched this?
You finished it?
Not yet. I'm in the middle of season 6, the final season.
So good, dude. I love it.
I've watched a couple episodes of it, but I haven't really like delved into it yet.
It goes from like subverting it goes from like comedy with subverting like mature themes that are kind of like BoJack's like an ironic like stereotype, and he does all this these dumb things, and they kind of talk about things that are in pop culture references or like calling things out. I mean, it's very progressive, the writing.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm.
With like socially progressive.
Yeah.
But then the show kind of shifts, and then it just tackles like hard topic after hard topic after hard topic. And it just gets like darker and darker and more real, and it's pretty impressive.
It's
like
so good.
It's not even a comedy anymore. It's like more than that. It's just crazy, like the voice of the generation the show has, and like how many themes. Like it covers alcoholism and like overdosing and drug abuse and like just any form of addiction. Yeah, depression, like
rape and suicide. Like,
jeez, I didn't realize it had so many different themes it tackled.
Dude, yeah, they make BoJack a really dark character, and it basically BoJack takes on like the flaws of the world, or the flaws of like any human that can like fall into these things.
Wow. Wow.
And he just like wears them all for everyone to see.
That's really interesting. Yeah, I really have been meaning to check it out. I just haven't had the opportunity.
Yeah, I'm surprised at how mature it is. It's highly recommend. Show's awesome. But it can be like a downer at times where you're just like, I need a break, man. This is heavy. Like the show can be heavy.
Like the first season is, I mean, it's the whole show
has light, right?
Dark undertones, but the first season is way lighter and it's like constant laughter.
Yeah.
But the show still maintains its wittiness throughout. I love how they're always doing these sentences in the dialogue that are like alliteration almost, you know? I don't even have an example. I couldn't even like do one for you.
Princess is always doing them.
Yeah.
You said alliteration?
Is that the right word? Right?
I'm not sure.
Chris, like when they like repeat the same like consonant in every single word in a sentence.
Oh yeah, I don't know.
Is it alliteration? Like,
but with that like perfect cadence, like the da 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 da.
Yeah, it's almost like poetic, but it's like really repulsive reptiles replacing.
Yeah, starting with the same letter over and over and over.
The woodchuck.
Yeah.
Woodchuck wood. How much would a woodchuck chuck if a woodchuck wood? They do that all the time with the one character.
Yeah, and even with a bunch of characters, but like it's very witty. It's like super smartly written. It's funny, but it's also like mature and dark and serious. And
one of my favorites was when they like had Ethan Hawke on the game show, and they cut to him, and it was just a big hawk, and he just like made a sound, and that was it. He was just like ah.
Yeah, like the humor is very punny too. There's like puns everywhere with like animal puns, of course, but more than that too.
Yeah, you could tell. It's like Roger Rabbit meets like The Simpsons meets like Daria.
Wow. All right.
From like old MTV. It's cool.
Yeah, I watched that.
Roger Rabbit's in the sense that like humans and animals just coexist and date and like it's whatever.
Yeah.
I think it's a way of lightening the subject matters they cut, like because it would just be disturbing.
Yeah, definitely.
if it was all humans.
Yeah, I think it would be.
Yeah,
honestly.
That's fair. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
because there's too much.
Makes it easier for us to ingest it.
Right. It's more of a disconnect than at that point. It's less believable of a circumstance within what the world is placed in front of you.
But it's super smart. Allison Brie's in it. Aaron Paul's in it.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's super smart. It's awesome. I'm almost done. And then I saw an episode of this show called Big Mouth, animated show.
You've never seen Big Mouth?
No, with John Mulaney.
Oh, it's so good.
I saw one episode today, and I was like, "This is genius." So that's where I'm gonna go after.
Yeah, Nick Kroll is in that too.
It's like the same kind of deal. Like the stuff they're talking about was like the one girl was pansexual, and they're like trying to like figure out like what that means and stuff, and it was pretty funny. And I was like, "Oh, this is also a smart like comedy that's like very funny, tackling like current social topics, actually tackling like real things, like kind of like how South Park is, you know."
Yeah, Big Mouth is definitely one of those shows for sure. Yeah.
And Chris, we got to see Nick Kroll live at the Comedy Store, right?
Yeah, we did. We did see him.
He's super funny.
Yeah, he was on Curb this season. Has anyone been watching Curb Your Enthusiasm?
No.
Oh yeah. He was the waiter or the host at the restaurant.
Yeah, I thought it was great. That shit was so funny.
It's such a good episode too.
His looks, just his face, like his facial expressions every time looking at Larry.
Oh
like,
yeah,
you know he knows.
Yeah,
what he's talking about
for sure.
For what you don't know, Brendan, there's like this one episode where Larry's convinced that they seat attractive people with attractive people. He's convinced there's an ugly section. And like they won't seat him in the one section no matter what. And he's like trying to bring other people with them to see if he can get into the other section. And Nick Kroll's the waiter or the host, I guess. And he's like, Larry's so convinced that it's like the scam. And Nick Kroll like just like is like he has no idea what Larry's talking about. And then in the end, it's exposed that it's true.
That is an amazing premise.
It's very good.
The season's kind of off and on this season, but one episode was like genius.
There's a couple episodes that are pretty good in this season, I think.
Yeah.
What do you
still the best season, hands down. If you before we move off Curb, if you're to get into it at all, just watch the Seinfeld season. Just that's like the season to watch where they try to remake Seinfeld.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I didn't even know that was a season. Holy
I think
crap.
it's like season 6.
Oh, wow.
They try to like the whole season. They get the whole cast. George Costanza's back. Jerry's back. Elaine's back.
What?
And it's great. Yeah.
Wow. Huh.
Even Kramer. Everyone's back. and then Jason, Cheryl wants to be cast in it.
Oh, yeah.
His wife. So he cast her in it. And then she's dating Jason Alexander because Jason Alexander is like based off Larry. And then Larry gets jealous of the connection. And then Larry decides to play George. But they're like, you can't play George. George is George. And he's like, no, I wrote George. George is based on me. Like, I'm George now.
Right.
And then like this whole time he's like suspecting that Jason Alexander's cheating on or his wife's cheating on him with Jason Alexander. It's great.
Well, thanks for spoiling the whole season for us, Chris.
I mean, I still think it's worth watching.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
and it's been years.
Yeah.
Like, what are you watching nowadays?
What am I watching? I don't know. When I watch television shows, I tend to lean towards like a lot of like dramas.
Mm-hmm.
Like I watch This Is Us.
Mm.
This Is Us. What are that? 911. I weirdly lean towards a lot of the medical drama stuff too. I don't know why. Yeah.
Any reviews? Any feedback?
Oh, the shows that I watch I think are good because I keep watching them. So
okay, cool.
I also watched Lock and Key on Netflix.
Oh, how was that?
What's this? What is this?
Lock and Key is this show. It's got this fantastical aspect to it where these kids move into the house that their dad grew up in, and there's these keys throughout the house that give you access to different parts of like one of them allows you to like put the key in someone's neck and be able to see their inside of their mind and things like that.
Ooh.
Yeah. It's a really good watch, and I think it's suspenseful. Some of the acting is a little bit like, but
is this new?
Yeah. It came out like maybe a month or two ago.
Yeah, I think I remember seeing it drop.
Yeah.
I think like it's starting to come together.
Mm-hmm. What else?
Dude, I'm playing Final Fantasy. I'm like so bogged down.
Yeah, you mentioned that before. Okay. How is that?
Yeah, so tell me like what part are you at? Like how many hours do you have in it so far?
Yeah.
10 hours in.
Damn.
All right. Not bad.
I got it yesterday.
So the first like 45 minutes is like
let's put this in perspective. I'm 10 hours in. I got it yesterday. That doesn't include like, so this is an awesome feature which I fucking love because I like tracking my game time because why not? And it's fun. But if you're in the menu, or if you get up and get a drink or whatever, like that's your clock's rolling.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in this game, after 3 minutes of it just rolling in the menu, it pauses it.
What?
The clock, it just stops because they're like, okay, you're away.
So it's like crazy keyboard. Accurate.
Close enough.
Right.
Like if
more
you
so
lose
than any other game.
Because you went and, like to the bathroom or whatever and left it like just on the pause menu, like that's on you. But you only lose 3 minutes instead of like losing,
right.
However.
So unless you're hitting that pause menu and leaving for extended periods of time, multiple times throughout gameplay, it's pretty accurate.
Yeah, which is pretty dope. So that's what I'm saying. Like, so this is like legit 10 hours I put into this game, not like away from the game 10 hours. So 10 legit hours in. To put in perspective, that is watching a season of Game of Thrones in like one day.
Damn.
And I love the game, honestly. So I'm a big fan already of the original Final Fantasy VII. And this game is a completely different game. So, which is kind of cool and unique. Like at first I was just like, it's not the same. It's not going to be the same magic. And then I was just like, wait, but I already have that game. And this is a whole different experience and unique take on it. And the story didn't change. They added more to it. They made it more meatier, but they didn't take away from the story. So it's not like they came in like Rian Johnson and just like ruined everything with Star Wars.
It's
not so subtle shade.
It's not like that. It's just so good and refreshing, and it's just I don't feel like I'm playing the same game for the 15th time.
Nice.
And it's a game that I think that anybody can enjoy and get into. It reminds me of playing Knights of the Old Republic with the soundtrack being so like, because you spend a lot of time like talking with characters, doing little quests, and just hearing that soundtrack, that dreamy kind of like reminded me of like hearing that soundtrack in KOTOR, that spacey. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, and it's like
just so iconic that just plays through the whole time. And the soundtrack in this game so iconic.
But it's like the same soundtrack, but they redid it orchestrally and recorded it like higher fidelity now. So it sounds like it's the same music, but like it sounds way better.
Mm-hmm.
A downside, I guess people could say, is that it is a bit linear, but no more linear than like playing an Uncharted or playing like a Last of Us or, Tomb Raider or anything like that. Where sure you can roam around, but you have like waypoints.
Right.
You have a destination. There's like a linear path. But I saw some people saying like, oh, it's not a sandbox. You can't just run around for hours like you could in Final Fantasy 15.
Right.
But I like that because I have shit to do. So like, let's get on with it.
Well, yeah, and like the world is still designed geographically like the same exact way as the original game. Like it's not like they redesigned the maps and stuff. Like it's all the same layout, right?
Oh no, dude! Like the original game, let's say you're in this area called the slums. There may be like 5 splash screens like in this area. Well, now it's just like 4 hours of you running around this area.
Shit,
Instead
awesome.
of like there's side characters that in the original, I wouldn't even call them like supporting cast members. They're just like side characters that are in the beginning, and they're kind of, I don't want to give too much away, but it's just the characters are just so much more fleshed out. The backstories, they're just so much more personality. The story is even meatier. There's just so much interactivity. All the locals have their own like it just I don't know how they nailed it. It reminds me of The Last of Us, like when you're walking around and people talking and how invested I am.
Okay, that's awesome. I think I'm gonna have to download it tonight and start I'm gonna start playing it tomorrow because
I think you'll enjoy it. The battle system at first, when I first came in, the game opened you up in like kind of an actiony way, where you're just like right into combat, and the combat system's kind of overwhelming and clunky at first because you want it to be like free flow and run around like any like action game, and then you realize, oh, it's a little more clunkier, and then you realize, oh, because it's more of like you're in the menus and it's more strategy, so you kind of got to get used to that flow, which within the hour it's good. You'll be fine once you get it down. They just throw a bunch in the middle and they're like, here's this whole new way of game style. Deal with it. And you're off to the races. But so the first like beginning is a tutorial. So keep that in mind. So it may feel a little like, I don't know. I don't know. I just didn't love the intro.
I've seen the first 45 minutes of the demo, so I know what to expect.
It comes off just like a bit of like, this is action-y, whatever.
Right.
Like spectacle, and it's basically trying to attract like just flashbang crowds of like action, Call of Duty, those people. That's what they're selling that intro for. Mm-hmm. But then you get after that first mission and everything slows down and you like take a beat and you start to get to know the characters in the world, and that's the part I love. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, oh man, I haven't had a feeling like this in a long time. Like even I've been playing Kingdom Hearts 3, and that's just like, you don't get that, with the story, the characters, it's just so surface level and cheesy and campy. Where here, I'm like, you feel the emotional weight, the content matters, super mature. I should do a whole other podcast on this, the way I'm talking about it.
But
the themes and the topics in the game are so current with our society and like the things we're passionate about now. And it's basically two sides of a coin of like, there's half the world is all in support of using the planet's energy to power the world and create new technology, and it's more efficient, but we keep using the planet, and the planet's kind of dying over time, basically like global warming, but we're not worried about it because everything we're doing is like innovative and progressive on a human level, so keep moving that way. And then you're part of a group that's like against that and more about preserving the environment, and you're against using energy such as oil, and so there's like a lot of like parallels.
Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
And when they remade it, you could tell that they retailored the script to like be more current.
Oh, cool.
But it's not in like a cheesy way, surprisingly. Like it is Japanese, so bear with me. But it's not like crazy Japanese,
right?
Anime or anything. It's cool, it's unique, it's fresh, and I think it's a game that everyone can enjoy. if you just like put the time in.
That sounds awesome. Yeah, I'm sold. I'm gonna pick it up. I need a new game anyway. I have all the time on my hands. So,
what system are you playing it on?
So sadly, it is a PlayStation 4 exclusive until 2021.
I mean, I have a PS4, so.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
But for Xbox users, yeah, I didn't know that it's exclusive to PlayStation until 2021, and then it goes to Xbox.
Huh.
A whole year, crazy.
Yeah, that's a long time.
And what's also interesting is this game is only one part. It's like a 3-part game.
What?
What do you?
So you're saying they're going to release
The
two
so
more?
Big that like there's like 2 more they had to release.
Oh wow!
So it's only the first third of Final Fantasy VII. You're saying?
Yeah, it's so weird.
Holy shit!
And I bought it, and it's 2 discs, 2 Blu-ray discs. I bought like the hard copy.
Damn!
It's 100 gigs.
Wow, that's crazy.
That's like going to take up my entire hard drive space on my PlayStation.
Yeah, I had to remove. I don't know what game I removed. I removed PlayStation VR demo disc, which was taking up 50 gigs. It's like, get the hell out of it.
Wow, yeah.
I mean, I love PlayStation VR, but the demo disc, cool, but it ain't taking up 50 gigs.
Good to know. Good to know. Cool. All right, should we
definitely
wrap it up
check
there?
it out if you want? Yeah. We should. And does anybody have anything they want to add?
No.
I kind of hijacked it there at the end with Final Fantasy, but I'm passionate.
That's fine.
Good.
I wanted to hear about it, actually. I wanted to ask you about it anyway, so.
Yeah.
And I love the original, and I will say, like, the original is its own thing, but I'm telling you. That's what I'm just saying. It may seem like I'm being biased because it's like, oh, well, you already like FF7, so of course. It's not the same. It's totally different. Mm-hmm. And I love that for its own thing.
Yeah.
Can I ask you guys a question real quick?
No.
This is just oh damn. Okay. Just because Chris, you brought up Rian Johnson, and in an unrelated to why you brought him up, what did you guys think of Knives Out?
Didn't see it. Boycotting.
I did see it.
Okay.
I was in the beginning.
Yeah.
I liked the beginning. I was like, oh, this is cool. It's like Clue. It's a little bit of a murder mystery. It's campy in the way it's supposed to be. But the beginning, I was all in. Mm-hmm. Then they give away the mystery in the middle, and then the mystery is like you. I don't know. It's like everyone else finding out about the truth, but we already know. And then I feel like that sucked.
I mean, I feel like it's a little bit yes and a little bit no with what you're saying. Like, yeah, we're given what we think maybe is the answer.
No, they straight up tell us. Like, and then it's about the one dude trying to help the other person. And then like that's the plot line.
Did you see the end of the movie?
Yeah.
I'm just curious because like I feel like I don't know.
Like, man, I don't know how to talk about this without spoiling it.
No, you can spoil it.
It's typical Rian Johnson fashion though, with the like gotcha, you know.
Yeah,
the gotcha moments. Can we spoil it?
Yes.
I mean, I don't care.
Yeah. So, all right, spoilers. Thanks, guys. If you don't want to listen, tune in next time. But we're gonna just talk about this for 2 seconds and spoil it, or just fast forward ahead.
Yeah.
But we're at the end, so you can roll out. Probably.
Right.
So yeah, this film, they show that like she killed, like how the dude died. It was like an accident or whatever, right?
Right, but she didn't kill him.
Yeah.
Right. So
that's what I mean.
So
like, I would have rathered it been like the end of a Scooby-Doo episode where we find out, instead of like we find out it wasn't her.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
So we know who did it, and then we're just like waiting for the cast to find. It would be like the Scooby-Doo showed us who did it, and then we just have to wait for Scooby-Doo to find out.
No, but like the impression is like throughout it, it's like, yes, she did it. And then you find out at the end that she didn't do it.
Maybe I forget.
No, that's what you're saying, Chris, right?
In the movie.
Yeah. We think she did it.
Right.
But then we find out she didn't do it.
Chris Evans is the one that did it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know.
I didn't see it, so I can't.
And I know I remember now, as you say that, Brendan, that you're boycotting it because Rian Johnson.
Yeah. So I can't confirm or deny what either of you are saying.
Fair.
Maybe I fell asleep.
See, that's what I feel like you missed something in the middle there.
Chris,
in my head, I feel like what I'm saying, I'm like, this is how I feel about the movie. But then what you're saying, I'm like, well, I don't understand. It's not lining up, so who knows?
Because like in the movie, you're given this impression that like no one knows who did it, and then you kind of find out that she did it, but you're given that impression that she did it, and
basically
throughout the whole like thing, while you're going through it, you slowly find out that she's not the one who did it, and at the very end, you find out that Chris Evans' character is the one who set everything into motion.
So it wasn't even an accident then?
No, the accident only occurred in the fact that.
So the beginning of the movie,
yes,
there's like this old guy and his caretaker or maid or house
caretaker,
yeah, and she accidentally kills him, I guess, or you think she does, and the whole film's like her being innocent and accidentally killing him.
She gives him the wrong dose of the wrong medication, which you're given the impression that that's going to kill him, and then he ends up trying to devise a plan so that she's not held accountable.
So the whole film is she killed him, and the whole thing is he tried to help her right before he died. He didn't have much time. Tell her how to cover it up because he knew it was an accident. He didn't want her to go down for it, but how's he going to defend her? He's dying.
Right.
So then you're with this character and that high anxiety as people are trying to figure out this murder mystery. Mm-hmm. And she's in the room the whole time trying to figure it out with everybody, but she's guilty. And you feel that pressure and you're like, this is cool, right?
Gotcha.
Like I like that tension. I kind of like where we're at here. I could see how that could be fun. And then like in the middle, like the detective that's investigating finds out that it wasn't her. And I feel like it just felt like it deflated it because the main investigator was like, I know you didn't do it. And then it was just like, oh, I don't know. I felt like I lost the tension because our lead character was where the stress was. And then the stress came off our lead character when the detective knew she wasn't guilty.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Just like finding somebody else, which is cool and it's its own thing. But I was like, damn, you had this whole tension thing rolling with this lead and you kind of took it away. And then it was just like, all right, we're not worried about you anymore.
The detective for majority of the movie,
which is Daniel Craig.
He's involved.
He was actually great. I thought Daniel Craig was great.
Oh yeah, he was. He's actually
he was funny.
From what I heard, he's trying to get a second installment of that movie made so that he can continue playing that character.
He does like a comedy role. He's pretty good. He's funny.
He's a really heavy.
And then I went and watched him on SNL afterwards. I was like, okay, this guy's got it.
Yeah,
he should do comedy work.
Yeah, seriously. Yeah, I don't know.
But wait, what were you saying, Mike?
Well, just that. So, like, there's a point in the movie when Daniel Craig's character, who is the detective, figures out that the nurse was involved in it somehow. He still doesn't know if she killed the guy or not. And then towards the end, he's convinced that she did. She's convinced that she did it. And then you find out that she didn't do it and that Chris Evans' character switched the medications that she had given the old man at the beginning of the movie, and that it wasn't her fault. But then he can't be framed for that, but he also kills another character in the movie.
Oh.
So he ends up like going away for having killed her.
Yeah, I feel like like Chris said,
for some reason
it seems like Rian Johnson. Like it's just a gotcha, and it's a gotcha that's not like earned.
Yeah,
it seems like
that's fair.
It seemed like it was going on a cool track, and then like the payoff. Like I wish it wasn't like nope, she didn't accidentally kill her. Someone else swapped the medication, and when she swapped it, it was actually the right way. It was just like, what?
Yeah.
Like, I read she just accidentally killed him, and that was the movie.
Yeah. I don't know.
The whole movie was like trying to get that done, and then like maybe like she had to come clean, or other people did start dying, and then like it deflected from her, and someone else was a murderer, and then he got pinned for it too because he murdered somebody else there, and then she gets away with it or something.
At the very end, you find out that the guy from the beginning who died is actually still alive.
Well, yeah, it was all his plan to get rid of somebody who was trying to take his estate.
Yeah.
That sounds very Rian Johnson-esque.
But yeah, I don't know. I thought it was good. I've seen the movie 3 times.
Oh wow.
Whoa. Okay. Sorry.
We
came right in like.
Well, no, it's all good. I saw it twice of my own volition, and then the third time was because one of my roommates hadn't seen it yet, so we watched it again.
I like the genre. I like that it was like a campy film that was just trying to be a movie. You know, not trying to.
Yeah.
Wasn't trying to like appeal to masses. It was a very niche. I like that it was a niche type of flick that you don't get to see that often anymore.
Yeah, we don't see the
like old cinemas.
The whodunit-esque films anymore.
Yeah, I mean, it's just like when it came down to actual like plot decisions, I was just like, this guy again.
I mean, that one with Adam Sandler on Netflix was really good.
Which one?
It was a whodunit. They're on like a cruise ship, or not a cruise ship, but it's like a nice
yacht.
Oh,
Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah, I really liked that one. It was a comedy.
I haven't seen that one.
Yeah,
cool.
Yeah. If you like whodunit films, highly recommended.
Yeah, I watched it. I remember like I don't remember walking away chanting or raving, but I remember walking away and being like, that was fun. Good movie. Sit down and watch and enjoy.
Yeah, very entertaining.
Yeah, I'll check that out.
Anyway,
less stressful than Uncut Gems. if you want to compare it to
I haven't seen that either yet, so
well, if you do,
I want
a roller coaster.
I do want to see it.
Yeah, so. No spoilers for that one.
No, please, no.
Cool. All right, let's end this. Thank you, Michael, for coming on the show.
Yeah,
thanks, Mike.
Thanks for having me.
Absolute pleasure.
We should have you back on. Yeah. So we could just talk more about Final Fantasy.
Yeah, definitely.
So I could talk about Final Fantasy.
It's all good.
Yeah, well, let me play it a bit first, and then we'll talk.
Yeah, definitely. Me too. I might download it. I don't know.
Nice.
Yeah, you may have convinced me.
Just when you're playing it and it feels a little slow, Brendan, and you're wanting it to like flow like you're doing like Horizon Combat or something, just think KOTOR.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's even slower. And this is like you can move around, but you have kind of the same like actions happening while you're making menu decisions.
Right.
So it's cool.
Cool. Sounds good. All right, man. Talk to you guys later.
Yep.
Later.
See ya
next time.